Graduates may turn around. Everyone, please be seated. Good afternoon. I am Dr. Drake Carter, Provost and Vice President for Academic and Student Affairs at Bismarck State College. This is my 27th graduation at BSC, and I have never seen a finer group of graduates. You should all be proud. It is my honor and privilege to host this event. Graduating students, families and friends of our students, honored guests, faculty, and staff. Welcome to Bismarck State College's 2014 Commencement Ceremony. At this time, I would like to recognize the BSC Wind Ensemble under the direction of Associate Professor of Music, Dr. John Darling, and the Concert Choir under the director of Assistant Professor of Music, Mr. Andrew Miller. Please give them a round of applause. Graduates, this is your day, and a great day it is. All who graduate from Bismarck State College today will always have special memories of the formal celebration of their accomplishments. For most of you, today's ceremony represents the realization of a dream which began to take shape years ago and which became a goal to earn a college degree. We admire the hard work, determination, and perseverance which have brought you success. These commencement exercises mark the completion of a major chapter in your lives and the beginning of the challenging and rewarding chapters that lie ahead. The education, skills, and knowledge you have gained over the past months and years will serve you well in your new beginnings. I will now recognize the members of the stage party. Please rise as I say your name and remain standing until all have been introduced. I would ask the audience to please hold your applause until the entire stage party has been announced. We'll begin in the second row. Mr. J. Michael McCormick, Professor of History and BSC's Senior Faculty Member. Ms. Carrie Knutson, Vice President of the National Energy Center of Excellence. Ms. Tamara Barber, Interim Executive Vice President. Reverend Marv Mutzenberger, Associate Professor of Sociology. Mr. Gordy Bennick, Vice President for College Advancement and Executive Director, BSC Foundation. Dr. Brenda Warner, BSC National Alumni Association 2014 Alumna of the Year. And Ms. Kirsten Basler, BSC National Alumni Association 2014 Rising Star Award recipient. In the first row, Ms. Katie Kirschman, Student Commencement Speaker. Mr. Masai Ujiri, President and General Manager of Basketball Operations for the NBA's Toronto Raptors. Mr. Dave Clark, Interim President of Bismarck State College. Ms. Kathleen Nessett, Member of the State Board of Higher Education. And Ms. Angie Malakovic, President, BSC National Alumni Association Board of Directors. Please give them a round of applause. The Reverend Marv Mutzenberger will now share reflections with us.
Credit for these reflections go to Alfred Grant Walton, and his thoughts are entitled, "The World We Make." We make the world in which we live by what we gather and by what we give, by our daily deeds and the things we say, by what we keep and what we throw away. We make our world by the life we lead, by the friends we have, by the books we read, by the compassion we show in the hour of care, by the loads we lift and the love we share. We make our world by the goals we pursue, by the heights we seek and the higher view, by hopes and dreams that reach the sun, and a will to fight till the heights are won. What is the place in which we dwell? A hut or a palace? A heaven or hell? We gather and scatter, we take and we give. We make the world, and there we live.
It is my pleasure this afternoon to introduce the State Board of Higher Education member, Ms. Kathleen Nessett, who has graciously agreed to fill in for Carrie Reichard, who had originally planned to be here with us. Ms. Nessett is president of Nessett Consulting Service, Inc., which has provided well site, geologic, geosteering services to the oil industry since 1980. She currently manages well site geology and mud logging crews throughout the Bakken and the Northern Rockies region. She was appointed to the State Board of Higher Education in June of 2012. So please help me welcome Ms. Nessett.
Thank you very much, and the stage party may be seated. Good afternoon, Interim President Clark, faculty, staff, parents, family, friends, and Bismarck State College, class of 2014. On behalf of the State Board of Higher Education, I congratulate you. Bismarck State College is one of the finest colleges in this country, and you may now proudly call it your alma mater. Bismarck State is deep in tradition, but it is also cutting edge. I got to see that firsthand when I spent some time in one of your classes. I was able to go into your Associate Professor Malakovic's class on GIS in petroleum technology. And when people ask me, where is our country headed? I tell them directly into the capable hands of these student graduates right here. I am very proud to be here today. Moms and dads, sons and daughters, family and friends, take the time to celebrate this day. This is a milestone in these careers. Bismarck State College, class of 2014, congratulations. Thank you.
It's become a tradition at Bismarck State College to select outstanding students to speak at commencement. We do this because we believe this day and this event should celebrate the achievements of our graduates. Kat, well, after wisely deciding not to become a history major, our loss, by the way, decided to lend her considerable talents to the world of music education in the Bismarck State College Music Department. You know, judging from the comments I've received, Her instructors and peers admire her not just for her musical talents, but, and I quote, for being an outstanding human being, a quality that most of us strive for but never quite make the cut. One of her teachers gushed, "She surprises, impresses, and challenges me every day of my work." And thanks to our partnership with the music folks at Dickinson State University, we've had the good fortune to extend her tenure on our campus as she pursues her four-year degree in music education. The writer William Congreve once said, "Music has charms to soothe the savage breast." So it's time to soothe us, Kat, with the music of your words. I'm proud to introduce this year's student speaker, Katie Kirschman. Let's give her a good hand.
Thank you, Professor McCormack, and thank you, friends, family, faculty, and namely graduates for being present today. After all, you could have just gotten your diploma in the mail. After shaking with the wrong hand and tripping during my high school graduation, I thought it best that second time around for college, I would probably just opt out of the ceremony. You can see that's going really well for me. Jokes aside, I really am very happy to see you all here, and to be here myself. I realized very quickly upon being nominated that I may never again speak to this many people, and so I don't take the opportunity lightly. I have a chance to share with you accumulation of things I felt my entire life, but have never quite been able to articulate until now. As it is meaningful to me, I can only hope you will find my thoughts to be equally as useful and worthwhile. Because I've decided to be a teacher, as you might expect, I've been thinking about education more than ever before. What it means to learn, why we learn, and why we don't. There are two ways to learn that I've narrowed it down to. The first is repetition, and the second is application. I'll revisit application, but as far as repetition goes, I'd like to touch on a bit of my own experience. Throughout my time at BSC, I have gotten a substantial dose of a particular subject. I have taken history of Western civilization, art history, and music history. The height of each semester was consistently on a period known as the Renaissance. For those of you who are unfamiliar, this is the era from which all the Teenage Ninja Mutant Turtles were named. Leonardo, Michelangelo, Donatello, and Raphael, they're all Renaissance artists. So now that you have some context, believe it or not, these men may even have more to do with the present than having cartoon turtles named after them. That said, I wrote my last paper 2 weeks ago, and I was so sick of studying the Renaissance, I hoped it would be a long time before I ever had to think of it again. And then, as I sat down and began the process of writing this speech, I found myself reaching for some kind of comparison, an analogy to our present day. And whether I liked it or not, my thoughts led to none other than the Renaissance. Allow me to explain, and I promise I'll keep the history lesson brief. So in the 15th century, the printing press was invented, and society as a whole advanced more within a couple hundred years than it had in the last millennia. It marks the end of the Dark Ages and the beginning of our modern civilization. So was this all due to the sudden availability of books? In part, yes, but it was really so much more than just that. Across the continent of Europe, a light bulb seemed to go off simultaneously. Leonardo da Vinci said it best in his famous quote, "Realize that everything connects to everything else." Wise words from a man who throughout his life held titles of painter, sculptor, architect, musician, mathematician, engineer, inventor, geologist, botanist, and writer. So what exactly made his genius? That brings us back to application. You see, this time period is synonymous for figures who excelled in not just one trait, but in many. Behind this phenomenon is the concept that once having learned something, that knowledge is then transferable to countless other areas, if only you think to connect the dots. So how exactly does this pertain to us? To my fellow graduates, this ceremony marks the completion of the first stage of our secondary education. And if you're like me, you have more school ahead of you, perhaps making this day seem slightly anticlimactic. Many look forward to the end of their education, myself included, but I'm here to tell you that it doesn't stop here, or there, or ever, really. And you probably already know that, but maybe not quite to the extent that I'm speaking. If you look to your side, you may see your parents, your friends, your family, maybe a stranger sits next to you. Whether you know them or not, they undoubtedly possess extensive knowledge and skill on something you probably know nothing about. That's for certain. We all know that teachers teach, but what about everybody else? That's the thing. We, as people, are each other's best resource. There's so much to know if only we are willing to both learn and share. Naturally, you will discover some things that you care more about and others less, but in learning from one another, the application is beyond just acquiring new information. It's about taking the things that we have to offer, whether you're a mentor, your manager, your friend, and figuring out what the implications that their experience has on our own lives. Not in a selfish kind of way, but in a Da Vinci kind of way. Now, on a personal note, as a music major, I've had to learn all kinds of things I probably would have never picked up on my own or dreamed of doing. Before I can legally teach anyone anything, as far as music is concerned, I'm required to learn the basics of most instruments, ideally up to a middle school level. Because I'm primarily a vocalist, it's been a lot of fun. It's also been really challenging. For instance, I have a newfound respect for tuba players, because that instrument is ridiculous. I'm serious. If people gave tuba players half as much admiration as they did guitar players, I really think the world would be a better place. It'd also be a weirder place, because then every rock band would have a tuba player, which would be kind of strange, but that's besides the point. Likewise, along the lines of things that haven't exactly come easy to me, I've been playing piano for 2 years now, and I still sound like a 5th grader. But you know what? It's okay, because then I hear my colleagues play piano, the ones who've been playing since they were kids, and it blows my mind. I'm so suddenly aware of just how hard they had to work to be able to play it the way they do, and it fosters in me a deep respect for them. And there you have it. The more you learn, the more you come to appreciate and understand the world around you, as well as the people in it. Now, when I was younger, I was kind of a know-it-all. I'm kind of embarrassed to admit, but one of those kids in class who always raised their hand to everything and wrote incomplete sentences when the answer was yes or no. Luckily, I've grown up to realize that it's not about showing off what you know. Sure, being smart is cool, and I've always felt that way, and that hasn't changed. But that alone, in and of itself, should not be the incentive, because the ability to merely maintain and attain information is only half the battle. True intellect is knowing when and knowing how to use what you know, relating to other subjects, other people, and in the end, bettering yourself. Of course, there's a certain amount of personal gratification in the expertise that one possesses. Some of you might be able to tell what kind of an engine a car has just by listening to it run. Clearly, by that statement, you can tell I know nothing about cars, so that's my attempt to relate to something that I don't understand, but there's a chance someday I'll learn. My point is that in coming to understand and being able to identify why the things in this world are the way they are and how they work the way that they do, is satisfying. Whether it's a machine or an instrument or a part of history, it's really all the same. No matter how big or how small, whether you master something or just graze the surface, knowledge is rewarding. It gives us pride and pleasure. It makes us feel good about ourselves. And that's why the more that we can absorb in this life, the richer it'll be. However, we cannot all be Da Vinci's or Michelangelos. That may be just a tad unrealistic. So, to avoid becoming a jack of all trades and a master of none, my advice to you is to learn as much as you can about as many things as possible. Compare them to one another. Find the things that they share, no matter how seemingly unlikely. And in the process, don't forget to find that one thing, or maybe a few things, which excite you and bring you joy. And when you find those things, and you are doing what it is that you love, that you were meant to do, I really believe that your harnessed skills and your heightened morale will combine to inevitably enlighten and serve those around you, as well as benefit yourself, which in the bigger picture is definitely an added bonus. With that, class of 2014, I wish you the best of luck. Thank you.
Thank you, Katie. That was very insightful. Great job. At this time, it's my pleasure to introduce BSC's concert choir. This talented group of students is enthusiastically led by Assistant Professor Andy Miller. As noted in the program, Assistant Professor Miller has arranged the commencement medley that you'll be hearing.
Goes like this, the fourth, the fifth, the minor fall. down south through the land of the pines, thumbing my way to North Carolina, staring up the road, and I pray to God I see headlights. Made it down the coast in 17 hours, picking me a bouquet of dogwood flowers. I'm hoping O'Reilly I can see my baby tonight. So rock me, mama, like a wagon wheel. Rock me, mama, any way you feel. Hey, mama, rock me. Rock me, mama, like the wind and the rain. Rock me, mama, like a southbound train. Hey, mama, rock me. Rock me, mama, like a wagon wheel. Rock me, mama, any way you feel. Hey, mama, rock me. Rock me, mama, like the wind and the rain. Rock me, mama, like the southbound train. Hey, mama, rock me.
Thank you, choir. That was a fabulous job, a great job. I'd like to recognize the following individuals who accompanied the choir. Michael Langer was on keyboard, Jana Hathaway was violin, Gabe Kent was guitar, Paul Nagel on banjo, and Andrew Johnson was the soloist. That was fantastic. Let's give him another round of applause. So it's my pleasure to introduce the commencement speaker today. And as a general rule, BSC enjoys celebrating the accomplishments of our alumni. And when alumni Masai Ujiri was named the NBA's Executive of the Year last year, we were definitely proud. But we were also a little disappointed since his award meant he could not be our 2013 commencement speaker. But Masai made the promise then that he would be here this year. And with his very busy schedule, keeping that promise has not been easy. His team, the Toronto Raptors, made the playoffs this year. And more recently, he's been focused on speaking out on behalf of the kidnapped schoolgirls in his native Nigeria. He arrived this morning and may have to leave this ceremony early to catch a plane home to Toronto. But we are so grateful that he could be here today. I am very proud to introduce Mr. Masai Ujiri as our 2014 commencement speaker.
I guess I'm not going to look at this paper because I didn't write anything. Wow, this is awesome. That choir was unbelievable. I'm overwhelmed to be back here. This was my home for a few years, and this gave me the opportunity, and seeing you guys and seeing families and seeing friends and seeing people that I know driving around campus and hanging out with Coach Buster, and him still trying to tell me what to do. We're walking over here, and he gave me gum in the car, and we're walking into the building, and he said, "You're not going to speak with gum in your mouth, are you?" I want to talk to you guys today about opportunity. And I came from far away. I grew up in Africa, in northern Nigeria, and I had the unbelievable opportunity of coming to play basketball here and study here. And I think the most important thing that happened to me was I felt I became independent and I became a man here. And it comes down to the opportunity that people are given. And as you guys go out and seek that opportunity, you must treat people right, and you must be honest to people, and you must always carry yourself, I think, the right way, because it all comes around. And I've learned that so much in my travels all around the world. After I left here, I went to Montana State, and I left there after a year. I went to play in Europe. I wasn't very good, so I only had a career for about 6 years. And opportunity again called for me to get a coaching job in college. It didn't quite work out that way for me, and I was lucky enough to get an opportunity with the Orlando Magic to work as a part-time scout. And when I did that, I realized in life that sometimes we all have to sacrifice ourselves in some way or the other. And I sacrificed myself. I wasn't getting paid. I had to travel around the world on savings. I had to sleep in motels. Just everything that you do to try to show your passion and to show your ambition of what you want to be. And when you set your goals, to get to that point. I continued to grow in the NBA, and luckily I landed an international scouting job with the Denver Nuggets. I was given an opportunity by Kiki Vandeweghe, and I continued to grow in the business. I got promoted 3 out of my 4 years in Denver. And one day I went to the draft combine, which was where I came from today. The NBA has a combine once a year, and I got a tap on my shoulder, and it was from Brian Colangelo, and he asked me what my contract situation was, and I said, and he offered me a director of a global scouting job in Toronto, and he said, if you do well, I'll promote you to assistant GM. I took that job, and there was a little window of opportunity. And sometimes you don't know if you're making the right decision. Sometimes you're scared. I was going to Canada for the first time in my life. I worked there for 3 years. And I tell you what, when I first started working in the NBA gave me an opportunity to go give back to Africa with becoming the director of Basketball Without Borders in 2002. And you go to try and help other African kids because Coach Buster gave me an opportunity here, and the experience I had with all the unbelievable people that you meet here, and the people that reach out to you, all the professors I see now, from Joe Volo to Comic, and so many people that along the way just push you and help you and encourage you and make you smile. Even when it's cold and cold, really cold. I remember going to a lecture one day with Godwin. Godwin Owenje played over here with me and was All-American and went on to play in Georgetown. And we were so cold. By the way, Coach Buster recruited me in July too, so I didn't. We were so cold, we walked into the lecture and we had all this mask that Coach got. I don't know where he got it from, but you could only see like a little bit of our eyes like that. You couldn't even tell what color we were. We were covered from head to toe. It was so cold. And we walk into the class and a lecturer, a professor says, don't worry, I know how you feel. And Godwin looked at him and he says, no, you effing don't. But I got the opportunity from the NBA to be a director of Basketball Without Borders, and I continue to do that every year. And in my 3rd year in Toronto, I got promoted. I got offered a new contract for another 3 years, and I was so happy. I went to Africa for Basketball Without Borders, and then I got a call from Denver, and they wanted to interview me for the GM job of the Denver Nuggets. And I just thought of my whole life and the path and everywhere I had been and all the people I met and my dreams and hopes of becoming something, of trying to affect the world or trying to affect people and trying to build my own career and trying to help my family. Here was a chance for me to become the general manager of the Denver Nuggets. And they asked me if I wanted to interview on the phone. And I was in Dakar, in Senegal at the time. And I told them, no, I want to be there. I want to be there and take that interview by myself and be there right there with them and show them my passion and what I knew about the game and why I wanted that job. I went there and I had the interview. And unluckily for me, I didn't know that they had already somebody that they wanted to hire. But luckily for me, I had a great interview. Anyway, I left there, went to the airport, and they called me and they told me I did great, they'll get back to me. The next day I heard that they were negotiating with somebody that they had offered the job. Opportunity. And in my mind, I was so disappointed. But I thought, you know what? It's my first general manager interview, and I gave it my shot. A couple days later, I got a call, and they said, the negotiations didn't go so well with that guy. We would like to offer you the job, but here's the amount of money we're going to pay you. I said, okay. It was the lowest in the NBA with all the 30 general managers, but I didn't care. I just wanted to reach a standard. I said to him, you know what, I want $50,000 more. And they said no. And I said, I need that $50,000 extra. And he said, for $50,000, you're going to give up the chance of being the general manager of the Denver Nuggets. And this was on the phone. And I said yes. And I said, for all it means to me to go and give back in Africa, and all the kids I try to help, and my foundation with Giants of Africa that I'm trying to build, that $50,000 means something to me. And he hung up. He hung up the phone. He said, $50,000, you want to give up the chance of being the general manager of the Denver Nuggets. Kept ringing in my ear. When he put the phone down, I went upstairs to my fiancée at the time. I just said to her, I think I blew it. I think I lost the job. He called me back 4 minutes later, and he said, I have Mr. Kroenke on the phone, and Josh Kroenke, the owners of the Denver Nuggets, and they said, you're the new general manager of the Denver Nuggets. You have to keep pushing. You have to keep pushing, and you have to be passionate, but you have to be good inside you. That's what I preach, and that's one of the things that's wrong with the world today. And as Dave said, when I look at what's happening all around the world, I look at the 300 girls that were abducted in northern Nigeria, where I grew up, where growing up was unbelievable. There was love, there was passion, there was help, there was hope, and we were allowed to dream every single day. And we could go out and play. And two things I think are so necessary for everybody in life, for every youth and every kid in life, is to have nutrition and to have education. I think those two things must be basic. And every youth around the world has every right to have that. So for some people, you go to societies and they're good people and they're bad people. And majority of people are good. We have to make it better. but it starts from you guys, because it's a generation, and we're going to pass it on to other people. And this is for everybody. Help the next person. Be good to the next person. And I feel that Bismarck and Bismarck State and the people around and Coach, who one day called me the son he never had, in my opinion, made me a man and gave me that opportunity. So as you go out there, look for that little window of opportunity. Because yes, there'll be some bad people, and we have to overcome that. We have to be the people that speak. Because my opportunity, being executive of the year, being president and all that stuff, being the first African general manager in the NBA, for me, means nothing if I don't pass it on to places or people like in Bismarck or in Zaria, Nigeria, or in Seattle where I lived, or in Kenya, or in South Africa or Senegal, where we do tons and tons of work. I got the opportunity to be a general manager in Denver. I was thrown into the whole Carmelo thing. I'm sure a lot of sports fans know about that. But people write all kinds of things. Those are those bumps. Those are those bumps on the road that you can overcome. You can always overcome. I remember going through the Carmelo Anthony trade, and I'm seeing on ESPN and all the blogs and people writing and saying, "Oh, this inexperienced African kid that they've given the job, he doesn't know what he's doing, blah, blah, blah," and he kept building and building. And at the same time, my wife is planning a wedding at the time for us, and she's asking me to choose one day in bed. She said to me, I'm working on the Carmelo case on my iPad. She brings out the white laptop. Every time she brings out that laptop, I'm like, oh boy, what's coming? And she says to me, round tables or square tables? I tell you what, all of you graduating, I don't care how smart you are, there's none of you that know that answer. So I start thinking to myself, you know what, if you say round, blah, 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 and if you say square, blah, 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 so why did you say it, right? But those are the things that got me through that period. The closeness of my family, closeness of my wife, and the closeness of friends, and Buster calling me when he reads something up and he sees that, you know what, maybe Masai is not so okay at this time. And he'll call me on the phone and try to joke around and tell me story. I know why he's calling. He's calling because he knows I might be going through a difficult time. Even when I got an offer from the Sixers to take a job and it was really tough on me, Buster called me and he talked to me about it. But these are the people that you meet along the way, and we have to realize that. We have to realize the opportunity when it comes and the people that care for us. But we can make a difference. We honestly can. We can really make a difference in this world. It doesn't matter how small you are, it doesn't matter how big you are, it doesn't matter how much you get paid, it's in the heart. It's right here. And I urge you guys, I congratulate you guys, and I urge you guys, because in my mind, I think unpaid scout, director of scouting, director of global scouting, assistant general manager, president. If my dumb ass can do it, and I tell you what, there's so many millions and millions of people like you that can do it. Go out there, see the world, see other people, help other people, and express yourself. I'm so humbled. I'm so humbled to be here because this is one of my homes. I have a few. Unfortunately, I can't call just one. I have a few, but this is a special place to me. So on behalf of the organizers, Bismarck State President, to all of you, best of luck, congratulations. What an unbelievable day. You know what? Go out and go get them. I love you guys, and I have to leave right after this. It's so unfortunate because I so love to meet people, but I'll be back. I'll be back here many, many times, and I'm sure I'll meet you guys somewhere, somehow. So good luck, and I love you guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Masai, for your message. And if you would join me at the podium, we do have a couple presentations for you. First, when Dr. Larry Scogan, who's currently the interim chancellor of the North Dakota University System, first became president of BSC in 2007, he brought with him the influence of his years in the United States Air Force, including the tradition of military or challenge coins. Military coins date back to the United States Army Air Service in World War I. Often imprinted with the squadron's insignia, pilots would carry them and give them away as mementos to other pilots. Over the years, the tradition of awarding coins to service members expanded as a way to improve morale or to commemorate special occasions. And BSC adopted this tradition in 2009 when we created our first presidential commemorative coin. We present these coins to recognize the sacrifice and honor of military service and to honor those who share BSC's commitment to service. So this coin is presented with gratitude to Masai Ujiri, class of 1995, Bismarck State College commencement speaker, 74th commencement, May 16, 2014. And then secondly, it's also appropriate to take a moment to present to Masai the 2014 Merit Award from the National Junior College Athletic Association. It is given to former NJCAA student athletes who have distinguished themselves and are recognized nationally for their achievements. Congratulations. It's also fitting today to acknowledge the faculty members who were recently granted full professorship. Would Dr. Jane Schreck, Professor of English, and Ms. Michelle Limblum, Professor of Art, please stand. Congratulations on your achievement. We also have a number of faculty who were recently granted tenure by the State Board of Higher Education. Please stand as I read your name and remain standing until all of you have been introduced. Please hold your applause until all the names have been read. Mr. Eric Bless, Associate Professor of Biology. Ms. Dawn Hagerott, Associate Professor of Music. Mr. Sean Iverson, Associate Professor of Anatomy and Physiology. Ms. Angie Malakovic, Associate Professor of Geographic Information Systems, Ms. Cheryl Omlid, Associate Professor of Speech, Mr. Brent Reams, Associate Professor of Chemistry, Ms. Christina Wells, Associate Professor of Business and Office Technology, and Mr. Paul Zimmerman, Associate Professor, National Energy Center of Excellence. Congratulations to you all. And then we would also like to recognize employees who have devoted many years of service to the BSC community but are retiring. Please stand as I read your name and remain standing until all of you have been introduced. And audience, please hold your applause until I've read all of the names. Dr. Janelle Masters, Dean of Academic Affairs, 30 years at BSC. Carla Bickert, Associate Professor of Management, 33 years at BSC. Keith Landis, Associate Professor of Electrical Line Worker, 22 years, BSC. And finally, Bill Cassett, Associate Professor of Automotive Technology, 18 years at BSC. Together, they represent 103 years of service and commitment to BSC. Please join me in wishing them well.
Please welcome Ms. Angie Malakovic, President of the BSC National Alumni Association Board of Directors. Ms. Malakovic is a member of the BSC class of 1997 and has been an associate professor in the Geographic Information Services since 2006. Angie Malakovic.
On behalf of the Bismarck State College National Alumni Association, congratulations, graduates. The Alumni Association is engaged in a variety of projects designed to enable our over 19,000 members to stay connected with BSC and our fellow graduates. Let us take a moment to celebrate a few of our success stories. Each year, we honor our alumni with 2 awards: the Alumni of the Year Award, the highest honor bestowed upon our alumni, and the Rising Star for our most recent graduates. Dr. Brenda Warner, class of 1985, has been selected as the 2014 Alumna of the Year. Dr. Warner, would you please stand? She is currently an Associate Professor of Education and Chair of the Education Department at the University of Mary. She was recently selected for a 2014 Global Education Fellowship to China and received the 2014 National Education Association Foundation Award for Teaching Excellence. Thank you, Brenda. Our Rising Star recipient this year is Kirsten Basler, class of 1999. Ms. Basler, would you please stand? Ms. Basler is the current North Dakota Superintendent of Public Instruction. She was selected for her achievements and dedication to equal opportunity education. She has 22 years of teaching and management experience. Both of our award recipients were honored last evening at an annual Alumni Awards dinner for their dedication, professional achievements, and public service. On behalf of the BSC Alumni Association, congratulations to Dr. Brenda Werner, 2014 Alumna of the Year, and Ms. Kirsten Basler, 2014 Rising Star Award recipient. Please join me in another round of applause. I'm going to ask all of you to look back for one moment to where you started at Bismarck State College. I don't know most of you, but looking out at the crowd, I realize I've entered grades for many of you this week. And I'm really proud of each of you, even though I don't know most of you. Because if you look at everybody in the room that's wearing a black hat just like you are, we've been there. And we understand everything that it took to get to where you are today. And that is no small achievement. And it doesn't matter what degree you have, if you're stopping right now or if you're going on for a transfer degree. You've done awesome. Just to get to this point has been a huge achievement. Believe me when I say, you have all achieved a significant milestone today because you've earned your spot here. We don't just give degrees away, you actually earn them, and that is hard work. Going to college isn't easy, but you've succeeded. Congratulations. I'm honored to be able to welcome all of you, our newest members, to the BSC National Alumni Association.
Look at that, I just grew 2 inches. Ah, yes. On behalf of the faculty and staff of Bismarck State College, I extend to you, the graduates, sincere congratulations on completion of your degree programs. Some in the audience may have noticed the gold stole that many graduates are wearing this afternoon. It is a symbol of their membership in Phi Theta Kappa, the International Honor Society for two-year colleges. The names are also noted in the commencement program with the appropriate Greek letters. There are many names of students in the program today that will not be read. Those candidates are indeed graduating, but will receive their degrees in absentia. Some of them are completed their graduation requirements in the fall semester and are not here today. Others have completed their study by way of internet and live and work throughout the United States. And then some few will not complete their studies until following the summer session. We are happy to announce that several students have traveled long distances to be with us on this special day. Students from 15 different states and Canada will cross the stage today. If you follow the program, you'll note the specific degree, diploma, or certificate each candidate is receiving. Finally, what you've been waiting for, will all the candidates please stand? President Clark, will you please join me at the podium? President Clark, the academic records of these students have been examined. The students have fulfilled the requirements for graduation for the appropriate academic degree as set forth by the North Dakota State Board of Higher Education and Bismarck State College. I recommend the awarding of such degrees so that candidates may enjoy the rights, honors, and privileges pertaining thereto.
So, by the authority vested in me by the State Board of Higher Education and the State of North Dakota, I hereby confer upon you the academic degree which you have completed. Graduates, congratulations. Will all graduates please be seated?
I now present the 2014 graduating class of Bismarck State College. The graduates will approach the stage and receive their diplomas. Katie and members of the Wind Ensemble, please join your fellow students. You will be the first to cross the stage. Ms. Nessett, Mr. Clark, and Ms. Malakovic, please join me at the front of the stage.
Catherine R. Kirschman. Kyle Jerome Hornbacher. Hannah Ray Carlson. Joshua John Danzel. Natalie Jean Marshall. Latish Lorraine Melhoff. Mary Caroline Angelica Wagner. The following students are receiving their Bachelor of Science in Energy Management degrees. Kent Allen Adkins. James Eric Deacle. Travis Ray Felkley. David Wahome Mwangi. Hans Christopher Sickles. The following students are receiving their Associate in Applied Science degrees. Dayton D. Farley. The following students are receiving their Associate in Arts degrees. Kimberly Ann Anderson. Catherine Brandvold. Ricky Nicole Bunyard. Angela Rose Carter. Jessica Marie Church. Alistair Claire Crockett. Chanda Desiree Dakota. Allison Ann Hope DeCray. Jean Cecile Delosier. Brittany Ray Engelhart. Sarah Marie Fitter. Michaela Rochelle Furch. Angela Sue Greggy. Troy Allen Greggy. Andrea Mae Grigsby. Brittany Ann Hansen. Jacob Andrew Herman. Brooke Ann Johnson. Brittany Dawn Junt, Jeremy Robert Kelly, David Ernest Knudsen, Hannah E. Coonley, Mitchell Thomas Leno, Caitlin Marie Motholler, Justina Gail Monroe, Sarah Lynn Morris, Ashley Marie Nice, Katie Marie Olson, Peter I. Peterchuk, Charles Richard Rabune, L. Rose Reich, Kayla Susan Richard, Jason Daniel Roy, Caden Ray Smith, Kimberly Jean Stewart, Colton James Ulmer, Jamie Lee Vetch, Sierra Tisa Whitebull. The following students are receiving their Associate in Science degrees. Carly Christina Allard, Kathleen Marie Anderson, Chancellor Artie Basler, Juan Antonio Barrett, Chelsea Ann Barth, Ashley Nicole Carnes, Jerica Dawn Cleveland, Brandy Sierra Davidson, Shauna Ray Dietz, Chastity Lene Gabriel, Lindsay Elizabeth Kirchenheider, Austin Levi Lance, Carly Joran Leland, Torina Lynn McConaughey, Tricia Lakota Morell, Dawn Renee Morton, Chancellor Michael Myers, David Michael Neff, Christina Lynn Parsons, Jason Allen Richter, Kevin Damon Rivers, Samantha Jo Shield, Bryce Leonard Snow, Samantha Marie Van Cleve, Carly Lynn Wald, Jarrett Andrew Westberg, Tyler Edwin Zeller. The following students are receiving their Associate in Applied Science degrees. Sherry Allard, Mitchell Schaefer Baszler, Alexander Jordan Barfield, Michael Weston Berg, Brian R. Billman, Cole Allen Binstock, Alex Neil Blums, Tyler Randall Beckel, Mick Albert James Boger, Lacey Alexius Bordeaux, Trey Jacob Bruce, Benjamin Frank Buchholz, Aaron J. Buringrud, J. Dylan Bywater, Rosette Marie Cavo, Indiana Beatriz Castellano Rodales, J.C. LeRae Cleveland, Paul G. Dalzell, Melissa Lynn Diggins, Isabel DeWitt, Kimberly Ray Didis, Tammy Nadine Dixon, Hillary Jean Dukeshire, Lance Brian Dupong, Anna Marie Fody, Keely Ann Fogarty, Michael John Fossum, Nicole Renee Freilich, Holly Ann Glass, Cole Garrett Gross, Philip James Hamilton, Abby Jean Hollowell, Jessica Lynn Honrud, Shaylee Houston, Austin Lee Intveld. Kip Kenneth Jangula. Lance Albert Kaiser. Austin Kurt Kittleson. Casey Jane Klein. Ryan Michael Korb. Andrew George Kreit. Nife Foley Kumoji. Brandon Donald Kuski. Brooke Nicole Kuntz. Matthew Duane Landenberger. Brett Matthew Lear. Colin J. Lindquist. Melissa Renee Ludwig. Sissy Mae Lundstrom. William Ray Martin. Corey Ray Mashik. Robert William Mason. Craig Allen McDaniel. Christopher Rand McShane. Peyton Elias Mertz. Emily Page Meyer. Stephanie Penny Myron. Spencer Thomas Malakaday. Lindsay Rose Mose. Andrew Young Dolo. Brianna Faye Netzer. Matthew Stephen Nikolai. Levi Donald Nistler. Jared Reese Olson. Nathan Ross Peltier. Skylar Joseph Perry. Gary Lee Phelps. Christopher Mark Rasmussen. Jonathan Thomas Rickson. Stephen Robert Rorick, Jr. Cameron Mitchell Sadowski. Cameron Lee Sandberg. Callie Jo Schmidt. Alex Joseph Schuler. Jake Alexander Schultz. Donna Sheets. Blaisdell Christian Summer. Shane R. Tigan, Tina Marie Thompson, Travis Cody Vanderwall, Brett J. Verhelst, Brandon Lee Wagner, Tiana Jo Wagner, Mason James Walker, Justin John Weaver, Lucas Mitchell Weber, Brady Matthew Weber, Cassidy June Weiss, Taylor James Wigington, Ernest O. Wilkinson, Allison Marie Wolf, Nicholas Edward Wolf. The following students are receiving certificates: Sean Michael Carlson, Patrick Allen Caseza, Jeremy George Fix, Jacob Christopher Irie, Curtis Howard Jabs, Matthew Robert Kelchin, Cody John Koenig, Mitchell Allen Krebs, Drew David Madler, Shannon M. Mesmer, Andrew Gordon Parisian, Noah Dean Newberger, Cooper Wayne Patch, Colton Sebenish, Joseph Irvin Strand, James Allen Vedder, Braden J. Will, Corbin Lee Wyatt,
So, as we conclude the 2014 Bismarck State College commencement exercise, I once again offer congratulations to all our graduates and wish each and every one of you the very best in your future endeavors. Graduates, please rise. Please turn and face the audience. Move your tassels from the right to the left side. Family, friends, faculty, and staff, please give our graduates a round of applause. Okay, graduates, you can turn around one more time. I would like to thank everyone for being here today. Please remain standing while the stage party recesses from the auditorium. Afterwards, you may come down from the stairs through the second level and through the southwest doors to greet your graduates, stage party, and members of the faculty. Thank you again.